In this video, I'll be talking about applying materials to box mapping and adding match mapping and set object display mode as commands to follow. So first I added material custom just in RHINO. I added a map that I had on my desktop and went on to add a bump map as well. Here I'm assigning the custom material to the object, and now we're gonna look at set object display mode, which is a command which you can see at the top. I'm gonna hit at mode and rendered so I can see the actual object. Otherwise you're gonna have a huge model rendered and it gets really slow. You want just that one object rendered. So to the right under properties, you're gonna see the cube mapping, and you want to make an actual cube. You don't want to make it stretch, otherwise it's gonna stretch the mapping. You want it to be consistent and scalable. So hold shift to scale uniformly, or you can stretch it without holding shift. You can rotate it, you can set it, you can move it around using the gumball. Then you go to the right side panel and you push the hide mapping, so that way you can hide it all and you don't delete it. Next, instead of exploding and having so many faces, you can hold shift control at the same time, choose a face, which will allow you to move it if you want to, but you can also add in a completely different material instead, without having to explode everything. As you can see, I can add a duplicate of the same material, change the color, change the glossiness. Next, I'll add a material, but not on the object itself, instead on the layer. So I'm going to create a new box. I'm going to put a different layer, and that little button right there allows me to add it to all objects in that layer instead of per object, which will help you. I'm setting it to set object display mode again so we can see it, and now it's a completely different object. Now for match mapping, which is a command, it's kind of like match properties, same thing. Just choose your object that you want to change, choose the other object that you want to match the mapping to, and then you'll have two boxes on top of each other. This one, I'm only doing one box because I chose one object. See, I can change the mapping, and now I can do the two objects, show the mapping, and they're stacked on top of each other because they're matched. They're the same texture. But if I choose one and I change it, then now you have two boxes kind of superimposed. You can change it again if you want to go back. You can hide it if you want to see the mapping. If you're not satisfied, you can go back and just match mapping again to revert the other texture to the original. That way you can stay consistent in your mapping everywhere. Next, in rendering, you want to make sure that you have like a bump on there. You can change the material from RHINO into Enscape or V-Ray if you're using V-Ray, and then add in a bump map for it. You can create one using Photoshop. You can also add a displacement instead. Thank you, and hoping you enjoyed. Ask me any questions in the comments if you like.